Okay, so just to my right is Mary Jones. So Mary is an ordained minister and the founder of ICDF Australia in 1978. And then she founded the International Christian Dance Fellowship in 1988, of which New Zealand was the first member. She's a former Dean of Dance Studies at Wesley Institute in Sydney, and Mary is the founder director of Karamaan and a global pioneer and visionary of Christian dance. In the centre we have Dr. Debbie Bright. Debbie doesn't remember a time when she didn't dance or know God. Her faith and dance have always been interlinked. She has choreographed large numbers of works, both as a solo contemporary dancer and for dance groups from different ethnicities, age groups and abilities. As well as a solo artist, she is currently a New Zealand contemporary dance reviewer. She's also past national coordinator of ICDF ANZ and current director of the ICDF Diploma. And we have Rod West. Rod is a musician and was asked to join ICDF Australia by his sister. He then served on the leadership team of ICDF Australia for many years and led the organising committee for the 2000 ICDF International Gathering at Mittagong in Australia. Currently he is chair of the ICDF Foundation. So I'm just going to hand over to Mary first to talk about ICDF.
Oh, okay. Big surprise. Okay. Yes, well, I'm not a dancer through my childhood. I didn't start to dance till I was in my 30s. And it was because my children were not getting creative movement in their preschool in snowbound Minnesota. And I thought that this was very strange in a country that prided itself on its education and innovative education. So I found an Australian friend, at least she became a friend, and she just happened to be a trained preschool creative dance teacher. So she taught my children and then suggested that I should teach them when they went to school because I was a drama teacher. And then she said, now if you're going to do that, you must take a dance class. So that was my very first dance class for 100 years. And so as I started doing those dance classes, I really sensed a call from God. And I didn't know anybody who was doing anything in church, but I started experimenting. And then I flew down to Colorado to meet Paula Douthit, who's an amazing pioneer in Christian dance, and learned a lot from her in a weekend. And then when I went back to Australia, that's when we started the Australian Fellowship. And then we thought in 1988, which was our bicentenary in Australia, that it would be good to have an international conference to celebrate and to see if people wanted to start the international. So we held a meeting at that conference. We had people from about 15 different countries, and we have some people who were there right on the stage. And they decided, yes, they would like to have an international fellowship. So that's when it got started, and Debbie was involved in the first fellowship that started, which was in New Zealand. And then South Africa, England, America, Canada, and so it went on. So I think there are about 30 countries that are involved today. And so it's wonderful to have an international fellowship. And next year, you've got to come back, because for the very first time, New Zealand is hosting the international conference. Same place, same time, except it's next year. So put in your diaries, and it's longer, yes. So there are amazing people coming from all over the world, and you shouldn't miss it.
I feel like Mary should be really introducing this as well. I'm talking about the diploma, the ICDF diploma, because this is another of the many things that Mary pioneered, and I took over being the director from her. It's an interesting qualification in that people learn theory, they learn lots of new stuff, but they also have to put it into practice. And it was originally begun with Unity College in Canberra, and then under Australian accreditation, and then became international. So one of the things you can do if you want to go further with this is that there are some of these on the table by the door, and they give the details. They tell you a bit about what it's about and give you my email address to get more information. What else can I say about it? Oh, it is a tertiary qualification, and we're not at this point in time connected with anything else, but my feeling is that you could go for recognition of prior learning if you wanted to study further. There are a wide range of topics and all about dance ministry, so it's the ICDF Diploma in Dance Ministry. And people who have done it have found it's very worthwhile. They've learned a lot. I had one student in India who kept saying every time I could do that. I said, hang on a minute, because she got so inspired by each of the things she looked at. She wanted to do them all. And I said, I said, you've got 4 children and a husband, and you have other things that maybe God's calling you to. But she was so excited by the range of things that she came across. I guess the final thing I would say about it is that it does depend on you having connection with your church or with people around you who you can get together as a group to work with. It also is dependent on you doing your own training, because we don't offer training. We offer some help, some ideas with spontaneous dance and also with choreography. But it is dependent on you doing your own training in your own town, so that because we can't do that. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you have any questions, I'm very happy to talk about it.
So one of Mary's other major achievements is to start the International Christian Dance Fellowship Foundation. This was started after the international conference in Scotland, when there was some seed money given to Mary to start a foundation to raise money to support Christian dance around the world. People connected with Christian Dance Fellowship, youth especially. And so we raise money. We're headquartered in Sydney, but we have connections in different countries, but hopefully we'll get some more. But basically what we do is raise money to support dance projects, and currently one of our major aims is to support youth financially and also encourage them in other ways. So we're supporting youth at this conference to discount the fees, and we'll be supporting youth to discount the fees for the next international conference here in Christchurch at Easter 2025. So I'm officially appointing all of you ambassadors for ICDF to go back to your churches and to your homes and your communities and spread the word that in Easter next year, you've got to be here to sense a lot more. You've only just had a taster here tonight and this weekend, but believe me, when you go to the international conferences and you catch up with people from all around the world and you fellowship with them and you inspire one another and you have a sense of the greater achievement of God's creativity working in and through His church spread all over the world, it's a great uplifting and blessing, and then you can go home with that blessing and continue to bless people in your congregations and your communities where you live. So I would encourage you to start talking and start preparing as we are in the foundation to actually help get this conference happening next year at Easter time. So I encourage you to get excited about it and to start preparing yourselves.
Okay, so we're part of a wonderful global fellowship, and we just happen to be the New Zealand branch, Aotearoa, New Zealand.